you would come in here and you have a sense of security, a sense of respectability with this building. This building was packed. There were people, long lines. This is general delivery for all the people that were working at the dam. This building was, if you think it's quiet now, it was like it was on the outside with the hundreds and hundreds of people that would pack this place.
So these old buildings are really something. What is it that's important about saving the old buildings around Nevada, and now especially this one right here, the post office?
Well, I think it gives us, it's more than just a sense of tradition. It's a sense of connecting with the past, and quite frankly, it connects with the future. You have a sense of where you have been, you have a sense of where you're going to go. It's just this continuity of life. From my standpoint, I have 4 boys. I'd like to see them touch things rather than just look at pictures of old buildings. This, in tomorrow, will be the cultural downtown center. You talked about the buses earlier. That transportation area in the next couple of years is going to move. And this whole area will be a cultural center in the downtown Las Vegas, with this building being the center, the home of culture in downtown Las Vegas.
You can see City Hall just past the old post office. In this modern building, you'll find the office of Mayor Oscar Goodman, who every day confronts the challenges of a rapidly growing city. Like Bob Stoldal, he sees the benefit of preserving the old post office.
Okay, well, the post office is right over there, and it's a great building. It's one of the few classic buildings that we have in southern Nevada. It's a part of our history. Its architecture is distinctive, and it's going to be the center of culture in the downtown area. We're going to be making it into a museum, and it's going to be a historic museum. It's going to cover all of our history with an emphasis on what made us different from other places, and that was the element of organized crime in Las Vegas. It's going to be very, very exciting. A great tourist attraction and a wonderful place for the locals to come to if they're interested in something fascinating.
Next, we'll head to Tonopah, situated in the middle of Nevada, equidistant from Las Vegas and Reno. Although quiet now, the landscape and buildings bear witness to a time when the world was flocking to this outpost in the Nevada desert in hopes of striking it rich. Today, visitors are able to get a visceral sense of those bygone times by visiting the Tonopah Mining Park.
It's the ambiance of being 100 years in the past when mining was at its peak here in Nevada. The mining park, that's the whole goal of the mining park, is to provide people a chance to step back into history and see things that otherwise they just wouldn't see anywhere else in the state or maybe even the West.
There's a lot of things that are lying around on the banks. What's your goal about all that?
Well, the thing is that, I mean, we could clean up the grounds and make it pristine, but the whole idea is that a lot of what's here has been dumped by miners many years ago. And so that we want to keep that look of how it was 100 years ago when this was an active operation. And by having our walking tour, people can basically walk for over a mile throughout we have 110 acres here, and they can walk through pretty much everything and see the way things were.
What do they respond to the most? What do they like?
Well, last year we put in a 40-foot bridge over one of our open mines, and that's kind of turned into the thrill ride for the mining park because they can walk out to the middle of the bridge and basically look down about 400 or 500 feet and actually see the interior workings of the mine.
Do people want to go into the tunnels?
That is the first question we get from about 95% of the people. They always ask, can we go underground? Can we go underground? We will have, in fact, one tunnel restored on the property where people will be able to go through, and at the end of the tunnel there will be an overhanging platform that will have a 500-foot drop down the shaft right underneath it.
You knew a town had come of age when the permanent post office was built. When this elegant structure was completed, the town turned out for the christening. Longtime resident Minnie Perchetti, who for many years served as the town librarian, remembers the day the new post office opened.
I remember when they built this post office, and oh, we were so thrilled because you can't imagine the two post offices that they had down the street. The day it opened was a great day. I think half the Tonopah was here. And it was such a thrill to have a new post office and such a beautiful one. And there was quite a few people in Tonopah at that time. And it was a busy place. And to have keys that open the boxes, wonderful.
Do people not have rural delivery here?
No, we don't have rural delivery here.
So that means everybody comes down to the
Oh,
post
yes.
office.
So it's a busy place. I've got the same box I've had since the post office opened, and it's down at the end here. And it, box 789 is my box. And my mother's box was 591, wherever it is now. And I'd get her mail the same time I got my mail. And I've always enjoyed coming in here. It's a great place, and no matter, even today when I come down here, that's sometimes the only time I see some of my friends are here at the post office. So, and it's always so nice and clean, and the people that work here are just great. They're accommodating. It's just been great. My daughter works here, and my friends. This is my daughter, Rita Carpenter. And she's been working at the post office how many years?
15.
15 years. And it's hard work.
It is hard work.
But they like it.
It is hard work. We saw you this morning at 6:30.
I know, I told her we're too busy, we can't do it right now.
We
you
had
can
the
show
grand.
them the grates. These are original. Rachel.
I was going to say, I can't.
The old big teller type windows.
Well, look at these. I need help. But these great. I can remember these. They were beautiful. And that's one thing I remember real well about the
They
post
come all the
office.
way down. Watch your head.
Oh, yeah. Lock you in, huh?
Or out.
Yeah. Yeah. They're,
You still use them?
Yes.
Yes, they
That's
get
how
shut
we
down at night.
Yep.
it's nice to have a post office like this in Tonopah. It's a beautiful, beautiful post office. I mean, this will be here as long as I live, and it's here to stay.
Our final stop is downtown Reno, where several historic buildings, including the post office, have been carefully preserved. Dr. Alicia Barber has been studying how the architecture evolved in this downtown cluster.
Today, this is really kind of the civic center of downtown Reno, and has been so since the beginning. We're about 3 blocks south of the railroad, which was always kind of the commercial center and where a lot of the businesses would be from the beginning, since this was a railroad town in 1868. But then more of the civic buildings and things that were oriented toward residents were really more here around the river. So this intersection here at the intersection of Virginia Street and the Truckee River has really always been the architectural centerpiece of Reno. We have across the street the Riverside Hotel, which was built in 1926 and has been restored relatively recently and turned into artist lofts. Next to it, we have the Washoe County Courthouse, which was built in 1910, both of these designed by Frederick de Longchamps, a neoclassical building that has also recently undergone a great deal of restoration.
Before we leave the present, we should talk about the Pioneer Center because it's right next to us on the other side.
That's right. The Pioneer Center just recently added to the National Register of Historic Places, built in the 1960s with a geodesic dome. So an example of some of our more recent history that is being recognized for its architectural distinctiveness here in the city of Reno.
If we went back to, let's say, the 30s, what would we be seeing here at this same location?
We'll be seeing a lot more green. On the site where we are now would be the site of the old State Building. It was a pink stucco building that was erected for the 1927 Transcontinental Highways Exposition. On this site, it was intended to be a temporary building, actually ended up being here for quite some time, but surrounded by lawn and some trees. Of course, we'd have the courthouse here, we'd have the Riverside Hotel. On the site here of the 1934 post office, before this, about 3 years earlier, since 1904, had been the site of the Carnegie Library, which was one of the great architectural achievements and civic accomplishments for the city of Reno. Managed to secure from the Andrew Carnegie Foundation $15,000 to construct the Carnegie Free Library.